Biztech's C-Suite Conversation Show. Hi, I'm Brian Fernandez, and today the spotlight is on Neo4j. Neo4j is a leading graph database platform that helps organizations make sense of complex data through relationships. Now, to cast an expert lens on this, we've got the boss in Asia, Kristen Pimpini, or more popularly known as KP, who's the VP and GM of APAC at Neo4j. KP, welcome to the show.
Hey, Brian, how you doing? Good to catch up.
Good. Thank you very much. Now, tell us a little bit about Neo4j and how your new role is shaping up after 6 months.
Yeah, thank you. It's been an exciting 6 months for me, having joined the business in January. Neo4j, ourselves, we're a knowledge graph database. We uncover hidden patterns in data, and it allows us to really provide richer, more accurate insights into different use cases that we have with many of our customers. And one of the areas that we're seeing a huge amount of uptake on is through this whole movement around generative AI. And it's been a really exciting last 6 months, and seeing what many of our customers are doing. My role spans from all the way from India to Northern Asia, all the way throughout Japan and Australia, New Zealand. So it's a very big territory and an area that we really look forward to growing over here at Neo4j.
Now, as you mentioned, exciting times because of AI and databases. Give us a sense of what are the most common use cases for graph databases and knowledge graphs.
Yeah, one of the areas that we're seeing today, well, with regards to generative AI, or just in general, do you think?
Just in general, and then perhaps you can zoom in around generative AI as well.
Yeah, it's a big buzzword. I mean, from our perspective, we cover so many different verticals, financial, telco, retail, like manufacturing. We've got tech, we've got health. It's amazing, right? And government's very big for us. One of the things I love, our CEO that I know you've interviewed in the past, Emil talks about, is how we help get to Mars 2 years earlier, and we're helping fight the cure for cancer, and we're also helping with that 360 view of a customer, corruption with regards to fraud, and also investigative journalism. So it's such a broad market for us that we work with, and many of our customers have. And it's super exciting because each day we're seeing so many different customers and different use cases.
Where are you seeing in the Asia Pacific region just the biggest take-up of your services?
We're seeing a lot well, definitely in the airlines, in government, and a lot in logistics, shipping and logistics, in many use cases across there.
Now, with folks like Neo4j, like folks like you work with a lot of other technology providers and partners, basically in a little ecosystem to enhance your offering. Snowflake is an example of that. Tell us about your partnerships with your technology partners and how that enhances value for your customers.
Yeah, I think it's enhancing our partnerships across many different organizations, and ultimately being agnostic and helping provide more clarity with the data, and the data, the connection with our data, and then the things that we can actually do.
Now, KP, where if you look at ASEAN as a whole, it's a myriad of opportunities in terms of using your solutions.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that ASEAN businesses should be prepared to face when adopting graph technology, and what strategies have you found most effective in overcoming these?
Yeah, look, I think first and foremost is businesses, as we know, right? They want to be agile and dynamic, right? And I think that is the most exciting for them as a shift. But one of the issues, and where we see a lot of opportunity for us, is to be working with them to help them unlock their data, right? And that data has been locked in rows and columns for so long. And helping them make those additional connections. What we do is in my opinion, one of the biggest shifts is actually a mindset change. Once they understand the value of graph, then they actually see how the relationships work, and then how the actual graph can actually help them get more out of their current data than they can today. So number one, to answer your question, is it's a mindset change internally. We too need to help them create an ROI, like any business, as you could imagine. And then second of all, we've got a considerable amount of tools that we have a big community, a big developer community of more than 250,000 members using our solution today. And it's about our online capability that gives them training, and then also leveraging our local professional services to be able to help them educate. At the end of the day, most organizations we engage with, they are not looking for a cookie cut solution off the shelf. They ultimately need to build something for their own organization. So we want to empower them to be able to use our tool to then better get the most out of the Neo4j solution.
Okay, so why are you better? What makes you different from other graph database providers in the market?
Look, we're able to differentiate ourselves from the competitors in a couple of ways. It's about our ecosystem with the developers, as I mentioned. We've also got a considerable amount of for us in Asia. We've got a considerable amount of people in our core markets, and we've got them spread out throughout ASEAN, Australia, New Zealand, India as well, and also Northern Asia, which is great. And then we're also able to help them, break through from an innovation perspective, and help them actually accelerate, their learning, and more importantly, the outcomes that they're trying to achieve.
Now, KP, could you share some actual examples of how you've helped your customers succeed using graph database technology?
Yeah, I think a really great one for Asia is Changi Airport, right? That we've helped them enhance the customer and passenger experience through through graph, and ultimately, they're within the actual airport itself. And what we're trying to do is help them find contextually relevant answers, right? And what we try to do is we summarize those results and we help them reproduce that. And then what we also do is help them improve their engagement with customers for the future.
Now, could you then also Changi Airport's a very good example in aviation, but one of the key things that I think from a problem statement standpoint, if I'm a CIO, and there are a lot of conglomerates, CIOs of conglomerates around ASEAN, one of the key things is I'm a CIO, I've got so many businesses, different disparate businesses. I've got different customer data, I've got legacy systems. How would you recommend that I use Neo4j then to pull all these data, make better sense of it, and then use AI then to really then unleash some potential new business opportunities for me?
Yeah, I think one thing that customers never say to us is they don't have enough data, or more importantly, they know how to use their data, right? We both know that. And that's probably a considerable problem statement. And then you've got archaic technologies. One of the things that we talk a lot about with Neo4j is our ability to work agnostically across many different technologies that are out there, and be able to ingest any type of data that the customers can share with us, that they're willing to share as well, and then give them the tools that allow them to crunch that data and create different relationships. Now, that's up to the customer on what level they're prepared to go to. And we're able to do that in many formats within their environments or within our own cloud environment as well. So giving them the flexibility to be able to adopt, ingest, and then provide additional outcomes for them that they're trying to achieve. And we can do that, as I said, across many of the different technologies that are already deployed generally in most enterprise organizations.
Now, KP, one of the key things, and we've talked about this, and this is the buzzword. I mean, AI has just changed the way we look at things. And I want to use a very simple example that I just did a few minutes before this interview. And I basically wanted to do a job description for something.
Yeah.
And previously, it'll take you a couple of hours to knock up a job description. I did that in all of 10 seconds with Copilot,
Yeah.
right? So that's how transformative AI is, even in the very simplest levels. What are some trends that you predict are going to take place in the graph technology space as a result of this AI revolution?
Yeah, look, it's a big one. I've just come back from a couple of conferences in both Hong Kong and Bangkok last week, and this was the hot topic in this finance event that I was at, which was great. But ultimately, when we're seeing AI and the adoption of AI, one of the key things that ultimately most people are looking for is to minimize hallucinations and make sure that there's facts and the context are correct, right? And I think what people are starting to realize with it is it's so easy to use tools that are out there, these LLMs that are out there, and to be able to get answers. You can download the whole internet from redpajama.com onto your computer, and you can start running an LLM and coming up with some very creative answers. But the reality of that is that they're only as good as what is actually what is available out on the internet itself, right? And then you'll start to have an issue with things like authenticity of that data, and then where does it come from? And what we're now seeing is that the idea of LLMs and knowledge graphs, right, which is Neo4j in our instance, is providing the grounding to the LLM, which is fantastic stuff. Without a knowledge graph, it's sort of like a lack of enterprise domain knowledge. You get sort of inability to verify answers, and then you get misleading results as well, right? And you also will have ethical and bias potential concerns. It was interesting, this most recent impact radar from Gartner that has just come out, and they've got a bullseye, and they talk a lot about knowledge graph and LLM being in the heart of the bullseye, and mainly around the predictability and accuracy that it gives you by having them work together, which we say working them better together. And they're not talking about doing this in 1 year. They're talking about doing it in between 0 and 3 months. So it's an immediate thing. If people are looking to deploy an LLM across their business, Gartner's position is you definitely need a knowledge graph, which is very exciting. And it's very exciting to be here as part of that and going to be part of that journey.
So now I want to zoom in then on the business. So we've talked about the technology, the impact, the opportunity. And as we said in the beginning of the interview, you've been in the job for 6 months. What's Neo4j's priorities and plans for the Asia Pacific region, given this great rush of technology and also the innovation that's taking place?
Yeah, look, as you said, I think when we maybe right at the top of the conversation, you've met with our CEO in the past, but from where knowledge graph and the awareness of it, from where it was then a few years back to where it is now, there's been considerable awareness and advancement in tech, and more importantly, the excitement around it about what it could deliver. Turning into the business here within APJ, it's very exciting because we've got a considerable number of customers already using Neo4j, very large enterprise, which is exciting. And then more importantly, we were in 2023, the fastest growing region for Neo4j, which is awesome. We're going to continue to invest in our core markets. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a couple of core markets. We've got people across all these regions, which is great, in person. And we want to make sure that we do that and we continue to invest in that. So then our customers can actually work side by side, shoulder to shoulder in some instances, to get their projects off the ground. We want to definitely continue to work with our partner network. We've got a growing partner network. And as you know, across Asia Pacific, it's a great way to grow your business. And we're going to continue to invest in that. We do that not only in a go-to-market, but we're also doing that in making sure that we bring on deployment partners as well, so they can actually help us get our customers up and running. We want to continue to partner up with the hyperscalers, so we do that a lot. All the major hyperscalers are working with us today. We're gaining a lot of traction, and I think there's a big opportunity for us there. But I couldn't, the number one priority for me is to continue to help our current customers and the prospects that we've got in play. The current customers today, some of them, they have multiple and, even more than multiple use cases. And I want to continue to go back into those customers and help them, find different use cases for Neo4j, and more importantly, see us as a real pillar of their tech stack.
KP, it's been a fascinating conversation. I learned a lot. I'm sure the audience did as well. But before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, look, I think graph database is something, when we talk about it and we use the word a lot, it's not a very well-known phrase or technology itself. We are engaging on many different events across Asia Pacific. We have a flagship event called Graph Summit. We do that across India, Singapore, and also Australia. I highly recommend to anyone who's listening to this conversation to please join us. They are fantastic. It's an education. We've got lots of customer speakers, and more importantly, you get to really understand the power of graph. And hopefully, we can be a graph solution of choice.
KP, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
No problem. Thank you, Brian.
We've been speaking to Kristen Pimpini, a VP and General Manager of APAC at Neo4j. I'm Brian Fernandez, and you've been watching and listening to Biztech's C-Suite Conversation show. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and third-party websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.